everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's time for another WIP Wednesday. Today I'm going to get a little personal with you guys and just kind of update you on what's going on, why I had to take my stream day off. I was actually really bummed I didn't stream this weekend because I really enjoy streaming and being able to interact with you guys. It's like a total blast. I love it. So yeah, I was pretty bummed that I couldn't stream, but I just mentally and physically was not able to. So I thought I would kind of update you guys on what's been going on and all that. I'm working on a page from, oops, let me hit my camera and my pencils, Seasons by Hanna Karlzon. And it's this double page spread. So I had finished a page really quickly at the start of the month, and then I was kind of stumped on what fall page to do next, which is ridiculous because I just did a whole fall series, but I couldn't choose between all of my options. So I finally settled on this one. However, a bunch of you replied to that community post with a ton of awesome ideas. So I'm probably going to just keep doing those next in line because they were all really cute pics. So I am using my 520 Brutfuners, and they work really well on this paper, but I usually prefer to use an oil-based pencil in Hanna Karlzon books anyway. Normally like my polychromos, square Brutfuners, they all take really well to the paper. In this case, these are oily pencils. Yes, I'm never going to stop calling them that because it just makes me giggle. So let me have my fun. But yeah, they do really well on this paper, and I'm not surprised because like I said, this paper, I tend to use oil-based pencils anyway. I haven't tried my Derwent Lightfast though. I should probably try those. They are oil-based in case you didn't know. But so yeah, first of all, hi everyone. So last week, well, the last couple weeks have been pretty stressful because I'm going to disclaim right now, this is the second time I've recorded this. My camera just turned off like while I was sitting there talking, and I don't know how long it turned off, and I was just like, I'll start over. But so you may have me like sit and pause and be like, did I already say that in this version or the last version? But anyway, yeah, so you guys know that my kids went back to school, and they started not last week, but the week before. However, my youngest is in kindergarten, and for some reason out here, they have the kindergartners start a week after the big kids. I don't know why. Pre-COVID, it was for testing. Like that first week, they'd have the kids come in and test, but they don't even do that now. So we, like literally teachers, parents, kids are just sitting there twiddling their thumbs waiting for school to start. So like when the big kids went back, it was pretty stressful, which is weird because they've been home since March of 2020. So I was like thrilled to have them out of the house. Every time I say that, I feel like I should feel guilty for saying that, but I don't. And then I feel guilty that I don't feel guilty for feeling that way. Mom guilt is real. But yeah, I was like thrilled to just have them out of the house. What's funny is like the day would fly by. I would sit down and like do all the work and like little tasks I haven't been able to do, and they'd be walking back through the door, and I'm like, no, my freedom. Like I didn't get like a chance to just sit and stare at a wall or something. You know, those things you dream of doing when your house is empty. So yeah, it was that, and their soccer league started the same week, or sort of started, I should say. The practices started. They pushed the games back, which I'll get to in a minute. But yeah, so soccer practices started. So it was pretty stressful having to juggle all of that. And then just kind of getting into the swing of things. You know, my kids, like I said, haven't been in actual school since March 2020. So getting them back in the routine was really rough. And then last week, my kindergartner starts. Now, she is not a morning person. I mean, this is the type of 5-year-old that sleeps till 10 a.m. if you let her. So she got pulled in the AM kindergarten class. So I was like, oh, crap. And And she's a very sensitive child. That said, she's actually like the sweetest little thing ever, but she's very sensitive and easily upset. And also just changes to her routine easily shock her whole system type of thing. So they finally had the kindergartner start on Wednesday. So yeah, they wait all this time and then they start in the middle of the week. So they only go to school for a couple days. That makes a lot of sense. So my kids ride the bus, and the big kids have been going on the bus and everything. And this is the first year we've lived somewhere where kindergartners have a bus, because all my other two older ones, they never got a bus. Like if they were morning kindergarten, then you had to pick them up when kindergarten was over in the afternoon. If they were afternoon, you had to drop them off, but they could ride the bus home. So there was only buses for the standard hours. This school has buses for kindergartners, so they bring them home after, which was, I was actually pretty thrilled, because then I was like, oh great, I don't have to like get up and go wait in that hideous line that we all love, you know, the line where you just pull up and wait for 5 hours. But so she went on the bus with her sister. Her brother's on a different one because he's in a different school this year. He's in junior high, which is crazy. And I mean, she was pretty emotional getting on the bus. She started to cry. It was better putting her on the bus, though, than dropping her off. If I would have dropped her off at school, there would have been a lot more tears. So she got on the bus, and then I was sitting there waiting for the bus to come back, and they had warned us that on that first day, you know, there would be a lot of delays just because it'd be kind of a, you know, learning curve for everyone. And these kids have never ridden the bus, so they don't know how to get on and off. Well, I had sat outside for almost an hour, and I called the school, and it went to voicemail. So then I called the school district transportation, and I was like, dude, where's my kid? I've been standing out here. And so they tell me, well, there was no parent present, so the bus driver couldn't let her off the bus, and they're taking her back to the school. And I'm like, well, what are you talking about? I'm literally standing at the bus stop. Luckily for us, the bus stop is in front of the next door neighbor's house. I mean, how cool is that? But I was literally standing there on my porch. No bus. Well, I'm sorry. A bus did come and stop, but no kids got off. And I even walked over there, but none of my kids got off. So I was like, oh, they're just doing their customary stop, I guess. I don't know. Well, I go to the school to pick her up, already ticked off because I was standing at the bus stop the whole time. She walks through the door wearing a different person's name tag. Now, kindergartners for the first week were going to have their name and address and parents' phone number pinned to them so that the bus driver knew, which, you know, making sure that they were at the right address and all that. Because they're 5. 5-year-olds don't know where they live. I mean, some do, but they don't know that well. Well, she comes through the office with a totally different kid's name pinned to her, so she wasn't even on the bus, and the reason that bus had stopped was the name she got swapped with. That kid was on the bus with her tag, but the reason the kid didn't get off the bus is because when they said, do you see your parent? She said, no, because obviously I'm not her parent. So they stopped at the right stop according to her tag, but the wrong kid was on the wrong tag. Like, I can't even tell you how ticked off I was, because these are 5-year-olds who do not know their address, and my child ended up on a bus that actually went across town, like nowhere near our home whatsoever. What if she would have gotten off the bus? Like, she would have been terrified. And apparently one bus driver let a 5-year-old off, because when I got to the office, there was dozens of parents, so it wasn't just my kid. Apparently, one bus driver did let a kid off without verifying a parent was there. A 5-year-old left on the wrong neighborhood, and thank God a good person found that child. I mean, knowing my daughter, she would have been terrified. She was already confused and terrified because they had stopped at her supposed address with the kid's name tag that got swapped, and she told them like she didn't see her mom, and they kept asking her, do you live here? And she was like, oh, well, I think I live over there. She doesn't know. Thank God they didn't listen to her. But yeah, so she comes into the office wearing someone else's name tag and address, so she wasn't even on the right bus. So I swapped with the other kid that came in wearing my daughter's. And so I was extra livid because I'm like, okay, who pinned these to the children? And so the teachers apparently pinned them. Like, okay, it kind of sucks that my teacher doesn't know who my kid is, but it is the first day of school. But why was no one double checking this? The entire point of them wearing those labels was to make sure they, one, get on the right bus, and two, get off at the right stop. How come when they were loading on the bus, no one said or double checked, like, hey, is this your name? Or verified before throwing them all on the bus? So yeah, there was like a dozen kids that got mislabeled, that sounds awful, and put on the wrong bus. So I picked her up. She was pretty upset. I thought the next day she wouldn't get on the bus at all, but she did. So that was stressful. And you know, the next day my stomach was in knots because I was like, oh my gosh, please put her on the right bus. Please don't let this happen again. And she came home, thank goodness. I was actually on the phone with Erica from Elm Colors while waiting for her to show up and telling Erica, I'm so stressed. What if she's not on the right bus? So yeah, my stomach was in like knots that day. I was really stressed. And for those of you who have followed my channel for a while, you know I have a stomach condition. I have chronic gastritis, which makes me develop ulcers, and it's painful, and I'm constantly not feeling very well as it is. And unfortunately, if you get stressed out, you know, exacerbate the issue. So yeah, I mean, last week we had that. So she finally was on the right bus, and so far it's been good. Of course, then we just had a 3-day weekend and they're going back. But my 5-year-old, like I said, is very sensitive to change. So she's not handling the school schedule like whatsoever. She's really struggling. She's really tired and really, really cranky when she gets home. Like, oh my gosh, it's so... yeah, whole level of fun. So we've been dealing with like her moods and then having to get my son to his soccer practice, and he's still doing his baseball private lessons to get him ready for baseball season. And we have that mixed in there. And then I was getting stressed because, so with my kids' soccer, I had mentioned how the league got delayed because they forgot to tell parents that parents had to buy their own uniforms, which is still dumb. I don't get this. What did I pay for? Well, we still haven't gotten our uniforms. I just got a notification that they shipped, but the kids' first games are Saturday. So the other issue is we haven't heard from my daughter's coach at all. Like, I've been trying to contact the league and I've sent emails, left voicemails, nothing. No one's calling me back. And so finally I was like, okay, I want a refund because soccer starts Saturday. I have no clue who my daughter's coach is. She has not had a single practice at all. And you guys pushed the league back, thank God, because had it started a couple weeks ago, would we have ever heard from this coach? And so the league like finally got back to me and apologized and said that the coach would be contacting us that night. Well, I finally heard from the coach Monday this week, and he sent the message at 10:30 at night, so I was actually already asleep. So 10:30 at night, he sends a message wanting to do the first practice this week and wanted the parents to vote between Thursday and Friday. And it's becoming a nightmare because, you know, give people options. No one's going to agree. But he wanted his practice at 5 p.m. I work from home, so whatever to me, but most people work out of the home, and 5 p.m. is when they're getting off work. So that's a crummy time. And so a lot of parents were like, oh, well, we can't do 5 p.m. And then no one's agreeing on the day of the week. And so, I mean, it's just a nightmare. And their game is Saturday. And this coach told everyone in his first text Thursdays would be easiest. And then he responds this morning saying, okay, well, how about we do Fridays? I'm like, dude, you just said Thursdays would be easiest for you. And now you're switching to Fridays. And Fridays, we can't even make a practice. So I flat out said, my daughter will not be there if you choose Fridays. Um, and he didn't even apologize for not reaching out to us. The league and practices started over 3 weeks ago. My son has had 3 soccer practices. She has had none, and my daughter is the soccer player. My son is literally in soccer to just fill the time between now and baseball. And like if his baseball lessons overlap a soccer game or practice, he doesn't go. He goes to baseball because that's his sport. Literally, he's just playing soccer to fill the void. He has no interest in this sport whatsoever. My daughter is the soccer player, so it really sucks because she's not even getting the experience or practice, and the kid who's not even interested in soccer is. We still have no uniforms. I have no clue when my daughter is practicing this week, if at all. I actually told my husband, you know what, I'm just going to look at some comp leagues out here and see if they have any late signups and just sign her up, because the rec leagues are just not working anymore. And I always want to do rec leagues to help support the city, but it just seems each year they get worse and worse. And I understand it's all volunteer, so I get that's part of the problem. But the people running the league itself aren't volunteer, they're paid. It's the coaches that are volunteer. But it's ruining my kids' sports experience. So yeah, I'm going to look into comp leagues and see if they have any late entries. If not, we'll be putting her in a comp league in the spring. My son will be trying out for the junior high baseball team, so that's why he's doing all his lessons. He is trying to switch from third baseman, which he is amazing at. He's actually an amazing third baseman. But it's his passion to be a pitcher. He really wants to be a pitcher. And so that's what his lessons are for. He's been getting professional pitching lessons from a former pro baseball player. And they're not cheap, but it makes him happy, and the results have been amazing. This guy is like magic. He tells my son to do something, correct this form, do this, and it's wow. But yeah, my son is switching positions after almost 9 years of playing in one position, and he's got to switch and get really, really good at pitcher to get on the team as a pitcher. I even told him I still think he should try out for the junior high team as a third baseman and not a pitcher. But we will see. So yeah, it was really stressful getting the kids back into the swing of things. My 5-year-old has not been handling it well. Like I said, she's very sensitive. So she's been like really cranky, and just afternoons and evenings have been just so draining with the kids' homework, and then the crankiness. Honestly, like by 8 o'clock, I'm like, I'm done with everyone. And then to top it off, my work has been very stressful. My job in itself is very stressful because I run a company and manage a very large team by myself, a very large team, over 100 people. And I literally have to sit there and make sure everything is turned in on time, because we work with freelancers, so I manage all of our freelancers, and I have to constantly keep up on their to-do, meeting deadlines and whatnot. And it honestly irks me because I used to be a freelancer, and if I had a deadline, I just submitted it. No one needed to babysit me. Unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be the mentality of today's workforce. Today, it's like people need someone to tell them, hey, this is due tomorrow. Are you working on this? Hey, this was due 2 days ago. Where is it? That's literally my day. And then I kid you not, 70% of our team is on vacation in September. Why? Isn't everyone in school? um, So yeah, like 70% of our team is out. We are super busy at work, and I have like no writers to assign anything to. The ones that are there aren't even doing their jobs. So I'm spending hours upon hours just finding replacement writers, moving things around, apologizing to clients because things aren't going to be there on time. And I mean, it just kept building and building. Like every day there was a new writer on vacation, or a new writer that just completely flaked out, or a client mad, and just 2 weeks of that compounding along with the kids, going back to school. I started to get really, really stressed. I mean, just the idea of sitting at my desk to work made me physically nauseous. Like, literally, I wanted to throw up. I was getting to the point where, like, I'd wake up in the morning with migraines, or sick to my stomach because my stomach condition has flared to an unreasonable amount. And so I have just been, and then that stresses me out more because I feel crummy, and I'm like, I have all this stuff I need to do, and yet I feel really sick. I don't want to do it. And so, yeah, I just started to get really, really overwhelmed with the headaches and the stomach ache and the stress. And I just couldn't focus. And so last weekend, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to take the weekend to relax, because the weekends for me fly by, and they're going to fly by even more now that soccer is starting this weekend. And my work stresses me out so much that I actually find myself mean on Sunday evening, like actually just outraged that the weekend is over pretty much. It's completely unreasonable and stupid, but I get really cranky and I take it out on everyone around me, kids, husband, anyone who talks to me. I'm just extra crabby because I'm like, oh, Monday's coming, and I don't want to, like, I'm so stressed about my job that I'm literally like, well, I'm just sick to my stomach that Monday is coming pretty much. And so that's why I was like, well, this is my last weekend before the soccer games take up my Saturdays. I need to just take it easy, rest and recover. And I was kind of hoping, like, if I just chilled, laid in bed, colored, caught up on ColorTube, I would feel better. And I did not. I mean, Saturday, I was actually super sick to my stomach. Like, I could not get out of bed. I stayed in bed all day Saturday. I did moderate for the lovely Emma, because she did her first stream, and that was totally fine because I had my laptop in bed, and I didn't mind doing that at all because she has, moderated for me so much, taking it per Sunday evenings, and it's been awesome. Of course, I did have to pay her back with some banter. She had like 10 streams of that saved up. But she and I can tease one another and not take it personal. So it's fun. But yeah, so I did moderate that, but outside of that, I didn't do much. I didn't record any videos. I did color. I need to take a picture of that and share it on Instagram, because that was where I initiated that post. I was like, hey guys, does anyone know, or what should I color next? Because I finished that one, and then I was like, doo. But yeah, I was sick all weekend, and Sunday night rolled around and I still felt crummy. And then I woke up Monday morning and I just instantly felt defeated, because there's nothing worse than waking up in the morning and feeling sick, whether it be waking up to a migraine or a stomach ache. It's like just an instant. I'm taking off my jacket because it's like so hot all of a sudden. Maybe I'm having a hot flash. But anyway, no, it's like, it's so rough to enjoy the start of the day when you wake up to a stomach ache or a migraine. And that's pretty much been my story the last 2 weeks. And when I woke up Monday, still feeling crummy, I was just like so defeated. And I did try to do some watercolors this weekend while I was relaxing, and nothing was working. So that was not a good, not a fun experience. I swatched my grams. That worked. Oops, I got a scout hair. It's everywhere right now. She's molting. But yeah, I did swatch my grams. That one I actually made too thick because I had dotted it on there. And these are bound with honey, so this is actually sticky right now. But they're actually really pretty colors. I went to swatch my art whales, though, while I was sitting there, because I love swatching watercolors. It's so relaxing. Well, swatching in general is, but I went to swatch those new art whales I had gotten, and you've probably seen my community post about this already, but yeah, I went to swatch them, and I was super excited because Lindsay the Frugal Crafter recommended these, and I'm by no means is she off base. The batch she got and reviewed, and the colors that did work for me were as awesome as she said. I think I got a bad batch, and my theory is because after her review, they went out of stock for quite a while, like a month or so, and I honestly think they kind of like rushed through reproduction or something, or just put some rejects up there at a higher price too. They've increased the price thanks to demand. But yeah, the first tube I swatched was great. So I was like, ooh, awesome. And it was silky and beautiful. The next tube, I noticed a lot of dried chunks. Now, that happens with tubed watercolors. You know, they do start to dry, although brand new ones should not have chunks in them. Now, if I pull them out of my collection a couple months from now, sure. But that said, if I put them on a palette, they should reconstitute, just like a cake of watercolors would do. Well, these would not. These were like thick chunks that would not reconstitute, got stuck all up in my bristles. So I had to actually change out brushes because one was so full of gunk that I had to go and clean it manually. And then I had one tube that, like maybe 5 tubes in, was rock hard, like dried completely in and out. There was no way anything was squeezing out of it. The thing was solid. And so I kept trying the others, and yeah, basically I think I had maybe 8 total colors that were swatchable, and they were beautiful, lovely. I was actually very impressed. They were transparent, the colors were gorgeous, they were very smooth. But then all the others either had clumps that wouldn't dissolve and would stick and ruin my brushes, or they were rock solid. I had quite a few that were just hardened completely to their core. So that's why I put that post out. Now, I really want to replace them and try them again because I've seen what Lindsay has done with them, and they're not expensive. That said, I'm going to wait a few months for them to work out any quality control. My fear is they became too busy and they just let quality control go out the window, because these were awful, like awful. I was sitting there like, yeah, this is what I expect for a budget watercolor. So yeah, I was just, the ones that worked were great, but the rest of the set was just a wash. So I returned them and then warned you guys, just doing my due diligence. But yeah, that was really bumming. And so I tried to do that this weekend when I was trying to recharge and refresh. So I got extra frustrated, and so I was like, okay, I'll just do watercolor painting. And right now I only have Art and Fly and Artesa's watercolor paper. Artesa's watercolor paper is not bad. I do have some little sketchbooks, like I have a Da Vinci and a Paul Rubin one, and those are actually really good quality watercolor sketchbooks. I'll grab one because the one's right here. This little one here is Paul Rubin, small, like the size of a cell phone. I'll even show you. So I was playing around with some greens and just trying to get used to this new brush I bought. So I was doing some leaves with it, and this new brush was not holding the water. So it would stay dry. Like you'd put the belly down to make a nice little C curve for a leaf, one end of a leaf, and then you bring it to the other. And it just was not staying wet. I kept adding more and more water to the paint. And by the end of it, I realized it's the brush, because those leaves were made not with my art wheel, a different brand of paint. It was actually the M Graham here. I took these M Grahams and I mixed some of the blue and green and the yellows and kind of created some different colors. But yeah, it was the brush. So I asked a few of my friends who do a lot of art, like, hey, what brushes do you recommend these days? And so I got some suggestions, and I placed a Blick order yesterday. I'm going to try one brand, and then if I don't like those, try the other. These brushes aren't cheap, but often good watercolor brushes aren't. So it was definitely a brush issue on that, but just kind of compounded with everything that weekend, because I was like already feeling crummy. I was just trying to do something fun to relax, and it was not working out. And then I'm glad I had swatched those paints, because I was literally, to the day, I was on my last day of the return window. So I instantly hit the return button, and thank goodness, because otherwise I would have been stuck with a bunch of paint that it would have went into the trash and been out like $32 or $35. So yeah, I wish I could say the weekend was recharging and refreshing. Should have just stuck with pencils. That's why I ended up starting this double page spread, because I was like, well, screw it. I'm not doing watercolor today. But yeah, so I did take the weekend to refresh and recharge, and I had a few of you privately message me asking like if I was burned out on the channel or something, because as you all know, I've been posting daily. It's actually not the channel at all. The channel brings me a lot of joy. I really enjoy my channel. I love sitting down and filming content for you guys. I actually really, really love it. It was just my actual job, the kids, sports leagues, and then just my health condition combined with like just mental health. As most of you should know, or if you've been following me long enough, I guess I haven't talked about it a ton lately, but so if you're new, you might not. I suffer from OCD, and OCD is a very complex diagnosis. People just think I sit there and turn light switches on like 20 times or something. That there's different types of OCD. Now, just because you like things a certain way or you want everything clean doesn't mean you're OCD either. People tend to use OCD as an adjective. It's not how it works. But it is a condition I have. I do have obsessive compulsive disorder. It's really hard for me to get things out of my brain. My brain, literally, I joke, it's like a hamster on a squeaky wheel. That's just my brain and how it functions. And so when things are stressing me out that most people could sit down and like meditate away, I can't. It seriously sits there and bugs me and haunts me. So it's, it doesn't help, because if I stress out, my stomach condition flares up. So it's like, catch 22. But yeah, so I do have OCD and a panic attack disorder. I literally have panic attacks that make me think I'm having a heart attack. Gosh darn it, there's nothing worse than having panic attacks at night. And I've been having those the last couple weeks, which is why I knew I was hitting a stressor point. When you wake up in the middle of the night, not even having a bad dream or anything, but you just wake up in the middle of the night and you start having a panic attack. I mean, to some people, if you've never had a panic attack, you'll think you're having a heart attack, because sometimes that's how it feels. Like you're lightheaded, you can't breathe, your heart is racing, you even have chest pain. So it's the first time it happened to me, I honestly thought I was having a heart attack. Then I found out what it was, but yeah, so I've been waking up in the middle of the night with panic attacks, so I'm not even sleeping very well. And my meds they give me for nighttime, I'm having to use like the max dose, and I hate it. And so a couple weeks ago, I was trying to change my medications, and I picked really crappy timing. I shouldn't have done it when the kids and their sports were starting. That was just bad timing on my end. But at the same time, I thought, well, maybe if I change meds, it'll help me cope with the stress of all these changes. Did not. Bad move. So I have seen multiple doctors, and they've tried multiple medications. The unfortunate thing, if you have an actual anxiety disorder and no depression, most medications out there are more so for depression. And I constantly get doctors who try to put me on antidepressants, and I'm not depressed, so it becomes a real big battle because they'll be like, well, just try this for me. And I will, and I'll go through the weeks of being sick to my stomach because those meds make me sick. And then by the end of it, the anxiety gets worse because they put me on something that's like a big upper. You know, it gives you energy to get out of your depression, but you don't want to do that to someone who's already anxious. I got plenty of energy. My anxiety zaps my energy, but that's not the issue. Like, I don't need help rolling out of bed in the morning or anything like that. So I have to always go through this battle with doctors where they constantly put me on antidepressants because they think I'm depressed. I'm like, dude, I am not. I am just stressed. Like, why is this so hard to just grasp? So I do have a therapist who specializes in anxiety disorders only, and he gets it. However, I've been having my stomach problems, which kind of correlate with my anxiety. So my family physician wanted to try a different set of meds for my anxiety than what my therapist has me on. And because he's trying to treat my stomach condition and my chronic tension migraines. So he's like battling 2/3 of my problem. And those two things he's battling definitely come from my anxiety. Like, if I didn't have such bad anxiety, I probably wouldn't have the gastritis issues as much, if at all, or the tension migraines. So it's like, he's like, you know, we need to control your anxiety, and I think your overall health will be better. So he had me try a few different things, like a beta blocker for preventing migraines. Apparently it's a thing. I'm no doctor. So I was like, okay, you went to school, I'll believe you. But the thing is it did help with the migraines, but it made me very sick and queasy and weird feeling. And when it wore off, I would feel even weirder. And then a migraine would hit once it wore off. The beta blocker lowers your blood pressure. I have freakishly low blood pressure as it is. Like, literally, when I get dehydrated, it sets off alarms if you put me on a blood pressure monitor. Because I'm like super low, barely over 100 on my, is it systolic or whatever the higher number is supposed to be. But yeah, so I have very low blood pressure, and beta blockers lower it even more, which is why I was feeling really icky. For lack of a better word, I was just icky. And then the medication he put me on actually made my anxiety 10 times worse. This is the first one I've ever been on that has made my anxiety double double what it should be. Like I said, they put me on meds that made my anxiety worse, but this one like made it run off on a complete like rampage. I was waking up to panic attacks, like I said. I was having trouble sleeping. That angered some sort of anxiety beast. It was like, whoa. And then I haven't had a chance to go see my doctor, but having been on tons of medications over the years, I weaned myself off of it because I knew that was not the one for me if it was causing panic attacks in the middle of the night. So I am still trying to get a hold of my doctor to schedule an appointment. He went out of town. And so I decided to just schedule one with my therapist and have him take that back over and see if he can correct it, fix what was damaged there. But yeah, the problem for me is the only medication that works is pretty much a sedative. And it hasn't helped with losing weight or taking care of myself, because once I take my meds to calm down, I am, well, I'm relaxed, which is the point, but I'm relaxed to the point where I can't accomplish anything. um, so it's kind of like it's doing what it's supposed to, but at the same time, I can't function. But the medications that don't pretty much sedate you or completely relax you don't work for me. And so my therapist has been saying for years, you might just have to be one of those people that's on this medication. Yeah, it sucks. Your body builds a tolerance to boot, which sucks because then they have to increase it. And he's like, but unfortunately, sometimes that's just the only thing that works, and it's better than you having a panic attack, because he's like, you could be driving one day and have a panic attack. I've actually had a panic attack driving. Luckily, my kids weren't in the car. But, I mean, you can have a panic attack and, black out or cause an accident. Panic attacks, people write them off as like, oh, funny, having a panic attack, no big deal. They actually can be a big deal. I have blacked out from my panic attacks because I got so lightheaded, so nauseous, so short of breath that I've passed out before. So panic attacks aren't something you shrug off or think, oh, no big deal. They're actually pretty dangerous if they go uncontrolled, especially if you have low blood pressure like I do, and prone to having a blackout. Like literally just pass out from it. And I don't pass out from every single one. It's just the really bad ones, which is why you think you're having a heart attack. Like, seriously, you think you're dying, and then you panic more. So there's something that you definitely want to control if you have them. And so, yeah, I was just kind of bummed because, unfortunately, I think he's right. I have to, I've tried loads of medications. It was funny with my family doctor. He was going through the list. Have you tried this? Yes, 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 yes. I was like, I practically have pharmaceutical knowledge of all of those. Yep, tried that. It did this, this, and this. But I was hoping this new one he tried would help, and it just made things so bad, so bad. And so I think that also was another reason I had a really bad stomach ache and headaches, was because I was coming off of those meds, but really screw with your entire body and its inner workings. So yeah, in a nutshell, medication changes, my usual stomach problems, just the stress of everything with school and my job really compounded, and I just got to the point where I needed to take my last weekend of freedom, as we'll call it, and recuperate. And unfortunately, I didn't feel any better Monday, which was so defeating. But there's not much I can do about it. Soccer is here. So, and I have to work my job because, well, bills, life. Trust me, I wish I could run my channel full time because it's like brings me joy, but that's just not realistic. Not with the kids and sports and all that. But I am looking, if things keep going well with my channel, I will actually possibly cut back on my full-time job, and so I can focus more on my channel time, because like I said, this does bring me joy, but it's kind of a big if, and we'll see how things go. But yeah, I really missed streaming Sunday, and you guys were all so very sweet with your well wishes and whatnot, and truly I appreciate it. And I will be streaming this Sunday. So September is going to be a little wonky. Like I said, with my channel plans, I was planning on having a guest teacher and then a buddy color mixed into the streams. Well, this month I've been invited to do a colorathon for, let's see, oh, Ashley, can't think today. I'm a little brain foggy today because I had to take my stomach meds that keep me from being nauseous, and in turn they keep you really drowsy. So sorry if I am grasping for words or saying the word a lot as a filler. I am very, very tired because of the anti-nausea meds. So just, I should have disclaimed that at the beginning of this. I'm going to get a bunch of thumbs down for all my ums. So those who stuck around this long, by the way, that's why I'm kind of just a little foggy, but I'm still able to mindlessly color these mushrooms. So I guess that's a start, right? So yeah, what was I even saying before I went off on that? Oh, okay, so yeah, stream. So Ashley, the lovely Ashley, has invited me to do her birthday colorathon. It's not necessarily for her birthday, but that's part of it. Kind of like, how to explain it. It's about what makes you happy. So you can color anything that makes you happy, and that's the theme of it. And it's part of her birthday month colorathon celebration. So I've been invited to that, so that's going to take up one of my Sunday slots. I haven't decided what I want to color that makes me happy. Actually, what makes me happy is hair, but I think you guys are pretty sick of hair. But it makes me happy. So I don't know, we'll see. But that will be taking up one of my slots, and then I missed this last one, so I was like, oh shoot, I've lost a few slots this month. So for September streams, you'll have 2 of me. One will be part of the colorathon, and then one will just be me. And then another one will be a buddy color. I'm finalizing who that will be with. I think it's going to be Debbie from Color Me Stress Free. We just got to make sure it works with her schedule. She was next in line for a buddy color. If you haven't checked out her channel, by the way, you should. She does insane mixed media on her pages. Like, she's fearless. That woman is fearless. And the stuff she does in her books, it always turns out awesome. But she's fearless. Like, she just goes for it and puts down all sorts of fun stuff. So yeah, you should definitely check her out if you haven't. But I think she'll be my buddy color this month. We need to do a test run and stuff because she hasn't streamed in a while. So she wants to make sure all her stuff works and whatnot. But yeah, I will have a buddy color slot. And actually today on my to-do list, if my brain remembers, is to get some thumbnails up for all of the live streams, because I feel it's better to just get them all up so you guys know what the streams will be for the month. And then also I don't forget, because I swear sometimes I post them like on Friday, by the way. So give you a heads up. But as you guys know, I stream every Sunday unless I leave a message in the community tab like I did this last weekend. Always plan on every Sunday at 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, noon Eastern. The only time that changes is, like I said, if I'm sick, I leave a message in community tab, or if I'm doing a colorathon, I'm not as in control of the schedule. So like my colorathon slot is 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. And I think that's the last weekend of September. I gotta double check on that one. But yeah, so anytime I'm in a colorathon, that might change. But I usually try to get a slot that lines up with my normal time for you guys and for me, because I kind of plan my life around those time slots. You know, I gotta get the kids situated, make sure no one's coming over, all sorts of stuff have to happen. So I usually try to get even colorathon slots close. So mine is pretty close. It's at 9 a.m. instead of 10. And I think it is the last weekend, but I'll update you guys in the community tab. Oh, and before I forget, those of you who are paid members of my channel, or those who are interested, as I drop a pencil, I will be getting coupon codes. So a few book publishers and art supply manufacturers have reached out and offered coupon codes to my paid members only. I think they're doing that just because they want to limit the discounts. I have asked some if they'll open it up to non-paid memberships, and a few have agreed, so just keep an eye out for those as well. They'll usually be tied to a video. But a few others are limiting it to my paid memberships only. So if you are a member, regardless of the level of paid member, even the lower level gets this, check the community tab. I've left coupon codes. Right now there's a $2 off for a digital book publisher in there. And so I have added that to this description because I have had quite a few reach out to me asking if they could offer a coupon code for my paid members. So that'll just be a new perk that's been added pretty much. And I kind of worked that out with a few of them because I've had quite a few people contacting me about reviews and doing stuff for them. And so instead of, because I had one company reach out and ask about some paid videos, and I said, how about instead of paying me to do some videos, you give me some coupon codes. So you'll see coupon codes for paid members and then also just subscribers as well for those companies that agreed to it. So keep an eye out for all those. I do have the coupon code right now in the community tab for paid members from one book publisher. So if you're a paid member of my channel, I would go check out that. And then yeah, just something to keep an eye out for. And then like I said in my channel announcement, I have some giveaways, unique giveaways, kind of just randomly, not tied to subscriber count or anything like that, just random giveaways planned, and they're gonna pop up unannounced because I think it's more fun that way, and then also kind of there for the people who watch content and not just because there is, I've noticed a lot of people who join my giveaways that aren't actually subscribed to me. So this will be good because then it's not announced as a giveaway. So there will be some hidden giveaways for all you loyal subscribers who actually watch and comment and don't just join my channel for a giveaway. You'll see some stuff there. It sucks because I try to make it clear, like, this is for existing subscribers only. And then I'll notice a few sneak in there, but that's just internet for you. And YouTube, there's actually people who troll specifically for giveaways. And then they just enter every single giveaway. You usually know who they are though, because they don't even follow the giveaway instructions half the time. They'll just leave a very random comment that doesn't even enter them properly. So, and some of them are bots. I was surprised to hear that some of those giveaway entry people, like, they create bots to go like bid on all these things for them pretty much. So it's kind of sad that that's what this has turned into, but it's a whole other topic. But yeah, so I will have some hidden giveaways. I've worked a few out already, but just keep an eye out because those will be popping into content at random, and that'll make it kind of fun. And some will pop into live streams as well. So I'm not going to tell you when. They'll just pop up when they do, and it'll be a fun little surprise. But I do have one of those in the works already that I'm hoping will come out in September. And then, oh, lastly, so I had done in my channel announcement, I said I was going to add the watercolor Wednesdays. Well, a few of you had messaged me and even commented on the video that you'd be bummed if WIP Wednesdays went away. And I'm not going to lie, so would I. I really look forward to WIP Wednesday. Like, it's not just filler content to me. It's actually really fun for me to do WIP Wednesdays. It's almost therapeutic. So I was kind of like, yeah, I'd be kind of bummed too if I replaced a few of those. So I think what we're going to do, because I'm not getting rid of watercolor Wednesdays. Well, the Wednesday part is going away, but I think what I'll do is I'll create that series for the weekend. So it'll be watercolor weekend. I like the rhyming. It sounds prettier when it rhymes. So yeah, just keep out an eye out because Saturdays I post videos, but those videos I post on Saturdays are kind of just, I mean, whatever. They're not really planned, and it's not fixed content or anything. I don't run a content calendar for a reason. I don't want to start feeling like I have homework. But I was like, you know what? I can just do watercolor weekends and have like Saturday upload a watercolor video. So that's what I'll do, is I'll put it on the weekends, and then that way everyone gets their watercolor fix for those who are looking forward to it. And then everyone still gets their WIP Wednesdays for those, even myself, who are kind of bummed that some Wednesdays would be lost. Because even I was like, oh, I'm going to miss my little color and chats. Color and chats are very fun for me. It's very relaxing because I'm just coloring away. I'm not like teaching. It's just me coloring a book. But it's really fun because I get to sit there and talk to all of you, let you know what's up. And it's very therapeutic for me too, because it's almost like I get a chance to vent to everything that's been on my shoulders kind of thing. So I really do like my WIP Wednesdays and look forward to them. So I think this will be better. And so yeah, it'll be WIP or watercolor weekends. And I think that'll work out just fine. And then I don't have to skip WIP Wednesday episodes. Usually I'll skip them if I have a giveaway, or the week is just packed full of so much content that's the only place a giveaway will reasonably fit. But luckily it's going to be a bit before I hit 5K. So we got some time now to fill. At least I think it will be a while. I don't know. We'll see. I've been kind of shocked, is I guess word, for how quickly my channel has grown, and humbled and very grateful for it. I've just been having fun is what it is. I'm just posting the videos I feel like posting. I do keep every request I get though in my book, and I get to that request. But how I work requests is I take it, I write it down, I don't forget about it, it's always there, but I work on videos as I'm feeling like working on them. So product reviews or whatnot, everything you see on my channel, I literally felt passionate about that day. And the reason I do that is, one, so I don't burn out, and two, I feel it's more authentic if I have the motivation to create that one on my own versus being forced. And not that anyone's forcing me, but you know what I mean. Like, I want to create a black hair tutorial with luminance pencils because I am feeling like using my luminance and making black hair that day. That type of thing. If I sit down and try to do a black hair tutorial, but I really don't feel like coloring with that brand of pencils or doing that color hair, it's going to show in the content. And that's what I'm trying to avoid. So that's why I say, like, I take every single suggestion, request down, and I do my best, but just please keep in mind, I'm not blowing off anyone's suggestions. Like, I have a monster list, a list that I'm like, oh my gosh, but it's great. I have tons of ideas. It's just a matter of, am I feeling it that day? If not, that's okay. I will eventually, and I will get there. So just know, anytime you put in a request, it will happen. It's just a matter of, when I'm feeling it. But I do take every request and write it down because I do want to put out there what you guys are asking for. I wish I could do it immediately. It's just, like I said, I would hate for this channel to ever feel or become a job or something I don't like, because then everyone suffers in that. So that's kind of how my content calendar works. I don't plan anything out. I definitely don't. About the only things that are fixed on my channel are WIP Wednesdays and Sundays live stream. Other than that, everything is fair game. So, and then of course I'll And if I do watercolor videos, it'll just be on the weekends so that we can use that cute little name, Watercolor Weekends. I like things that just, the words when they jive together. But yeah, so I've kind of rambled on, and I'm terribly sorry for that. Although you guys did help me tackle these never-ending mushrooms. Oh my gosh, the number of mushrooms in this book, or at least this double-page spread. I was like, wow, I'm going a little crazy here. But I've gotten quite a bit done, although I still have tons to do. Although for this being such a big double-page spread, it's gone a lot quicker than I thought it would. So kudos on that one, I guess. But yeah, I think I've rambled on long enough for you guys, and I should probably get back to all of those lovely tasks I have on my plate for today before the youngest kiddo gets out of kindergarten. It's kind of weird having the house empty and being able to record, and I still close the door for privacy from, I don't know, the dog. The dog's in here with me though, so I don't even know what I'm hiding from. Actually, I am hiding right now from Johnny 5, our Roomba, because he's doing his job, and yeah, I didn't want him to roll in here while I was filming, because he totally would. But yeah, I think I've rambled on long enough, so thank you guys for being so cool about me skipping my stream last weekend. I will be streaming this Sunday for sure, so 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, that's noon Eastern. I'm going to try and get a thumbnail up once I finalize what I'm going to work on. But it'll be there. And then, yeah, thank you for listening to me just kind of update on what's going on and kind of where I'm at with everything. It's just kind of a pile of a bunch of things all mixed into one little bowl that are causing a lot of hiccups in my life. But as always, it always works out in the end. So I'll get there eventually. But yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week. I hope to see you Sunday, and until next time, take care.